Justin, in the interest of keeping us on schedule this afternoon, I will continue to admit folks as they join us, but do you want to go ahead and kick off this afternoon's Vote with Your Hands healthcare conversation?
Absolutely. So first of all, welcome everybody. I just figured out what was wrong with my camera in the last seconds here before we got started, so that was good news. We're off to a good start there. I am Justin Dubengeiser. I am the executive director at the Wyoming County Business Education Council, for those of you that don't know. And I'll be kicking us off this morning. And as we go through, we'll have a couple more speakers, and they'll be able to introduce themselves once we get there. But first of all, just super excited to be on this meeting with everybody and kicking off this healthcare event, which we think is going to be just another outstanding event, and one that is taking a ton of collaboration and teamwork from not only the people on this meeting, but many more behind the scenes. And it doesn't go unrecognized that you guys that are on this meeting and others that aren't here are just a huge part of that. So first of all, thank you for this. It takes a ton of work, I know, on your end and the school's end to make sure that this stuff is able to happen. And we have so many people that are passionate about making sure that these events happen for the students. So we're excited to see all the collaboration that takes place with this kind of stuff. Just a couple news and notes as we get going here. We are recording this event, so for the people that could not make it, we'll be able to send that to them to answer any of the questions that they might have. And I know Angela was mentioning it as you got in here, but if you could just throw your name and school district in the chat, that way we know who is here and we know who not to send it to, that would be great. It just helps us keep track of kind of basically everything that we need to do and all the stuff that we need to get sent out to everybody. Today's goal is basically just to kind of provide you all with the nuts and bolts information of kind of what this event is and how it's going to be taking place, and answer any questions that you might have. All right, we're going to keep it pretty brief for you, so you'll be able to get out of here and not too much time, but you'll also be able to leave here with a good amount of information about the event. Just as a quick overview to start of kind of how the event is going to take place, if you can see on the screen there, this is kind of what your schedule is going to look like. So if you think if you were part of the Globe manufacturing event, it's going to be a little bit different in the sense where in that event, we had specific times for every school to be showing up, and that we staggered it. We're not going to do that at this event. We're basically just saying, you need to show up between 9 and 9:30, be at GCC in Batavia on the 24th between the time, and we're going to start it like that. So it's not going to be that tiered kind of system where you're showing up that. When we get more news as far as where parking and logistics of that stuff is going to take place, we will be sending that information out to you, so you will have a better idea of parking, entrances, exits, all that kind of stuff. But just important to note, it is a little bit different as far as that tiered system was for the Globe manufacturing. It's not going to be like that. So we wanted to make sure that that is known. The event, you'll start with registration. The first block starts at 9:45, and you'll be out of there by 1:30. So you can see how it's kind of structured there, where there's going to be 4 different blocks and how it's going to be divided up. You'll have certain different school rotations, and Karen's going to be going over that more in depth of how that's all going to work, as far as how the schools are going to rotate, what the specific blocks are, how the students are going to do all their stuff and their registration stuff, and how that's going to get separated. But the big thing to know from you guys and the schools is if you have specific needs as far as when you're going to be there or when you need to leave. So say like, hey, we got to be out of there before, 1:20, 1:30. Let us know in the chat or email any of the points of contacts, Angela, Karen, myself, Kelly, Mary, whoever it is your county representative is. get in contact with them just so we know and we can make maybe certain accommodations for you that you might need. So that's kind of the big thing as far as time is concerned. And with that note, I think that's all I have for you. And I'm going to turn it over to Karen Winters for her side of the presentation.
Yes, thank you, everybody. So my name is Karen Winters. I am the Business Education Alliance Director for Genesee County. Just to tell you a little bit about how the students will rotate through the different stations. Different from how they, Glow with Your Hands, how they went from building to building, had an allotment of time in each section to kind of explore. The healthcare event will feature 4 45 to 50-minute blocks. These blocks include a nursing presentation and hands-on demonstrations. So every student will have a chance to get a deeper dive into the nursing profession and the different nursing levels that exist. We will also have an interactive college career training program, exhibits much like what you've seen at Glow with Your Hands, the manufacturing day. They will also attend, we'll be providing lunch, and because 45 minutes is a lot of time to give to students for lunch, we've divided it in half so that for about 20 minutes, the students will receive their lunch in the GCC cafeteria. They'll have about 25 to 30 minutes to go into the GCC gymnasium, where we will have fire departments, EMTs from the Glow region who will be on hand to do some hands-on demonstrations, first aid kind of trainings that the kids can get some informal information on how do you do, how do you use an AED, how do you do CPR, stop the bleed. That is just the scratch of the surface of the different types of trainings that your students will get to participate in that first responder section. And then we also want to make sure that the students have a chance to take a deeper dive into maybe a more specific healthcare career that they may not have enough time to see in those different rotations. So we will also have the students self-report on what specific healthcare career interests them most, and they'll attend one individualized workshop presentation with health professionals from that field. And I'll walk you through how we determine where that student is going to go in this particular structure. So again, as Justin mentioned, if you guys are taking a look at this itinerary and you see some concerns about if your school can get to GCC campus at the start time, again, we want to try to get everybody in position ready to go at 9:45 being our first block rotation time. So we want everybody there by 9:30 at the latest. And again, we plan to wrap things up about 1:30. Okay. For those of you who, I know in Genesee and Wyoming County, we did have a great hands-on interactive healthcare career back in 2020, right before COVID hit. This event is very much along that vein, except, again, we have our friends in Orleans and Livingston County that are going to be taking place and participating in this event as well. So I just wanted to play you a quick recap video from that event so it gives you a feel for what this might look like for you and your students on March 24th. And I apologize if you can't hear the sound. It's just music in the background if you can't hear it. Okay. So you can see from that video from 2020, we had a variety of different healthcare careers that the students could participate in that workshop presentation. We've narrowed it down and kind of, you know, career clustered, so to speak, 14 to 15 different possible workshops that the students can attend. So we have here physical therapy. It covers the umbrella of physical therapy careers. So PTs, PTAs. We'll have dentistry representing dental hygienists, dentists, pediatric dentists, radiology, sonography, and ultrasound, occupational therapy, surgery, so more of the locations. If you have a student who's more interested in the science component, the laboratory, what are the different careers that involve that science aspect, research science to the health careers, healthy living, respiratory therapist, just a bunch of different career pathways that your students can possibly choose from. Now, this is going to be different in that instead of for Glow with Your Hands, where we send, you know, the points of contact for the school district, okay, here's a list of, you know, here's a roster sheet, send this back to us with the, you know, 40 to 80 students who you have planning to come to this event. It's a little bit different. What we want to see is for your students who are coming to this event to individually register. So I just have displayed on my screen, we're using Google Surveys. After today's call, more than likely this will be tomorrow, we will send you the Google Survey link that your students will use to register themselves for this event. And I'm just going to kind of walk you through what this looks like. We are opening the registration on December 15th. So your students will have the opportunity to start registering that day. The information that we need to gather is, of course, their first and last name. They'll select their school district and then their grade level. When they hit next, we provide, again, a little short overview of what the survey's for. So if the students read the directions here, this is a career interest survey for students to gauge, okay, if you were to attend one workshop presentation of your choosing, which workshop would that be? Please keep in mind that we cannot guarantee that your student will attend the workshop of their choosing. They may have their heart set on, you know, one chosen career field. Maybe they really want to take a look at dentistry. We do try our best to match the student to what they're interested in. However, it's very much on a first come, first serve basis. We have to accommodate the interests of many different students. So again, we cannot stress to you enough, we cannot guarantee a spot in a particular workshop, but we will work hard to do so. So the students will go down and we have a description of each of these careers. What are the different education levels? We tried to include a variety of different careers. So not necessarily the health career that you might be in college for or medical school for 10 to 12 years. We have some programs that are listed where you just need a high school diploma or on the job training, associate's degree. So there's really a variety of all education levels. To help paint a picture of what these careers look like, we found 2 to 3 minute career videos, mainly through Career USA and their YouTube channel. And we've just provided those videos on here. So should your student just want to be, well, I've never heard of that, you know, this particular, I don't know what occupational therapy is. They have a video that they can view to just get a feel, an idea of what that career field is. Once they get onto this survey here, they will rank on a scale from 1 to 10. Okay, what is your interest to learn more about dentistry careers? 1 being not interested at all, please don't assign me to this, up to 10, yes, I'm very interested. They could be somewhere in between, so they rank it. There are roughly 14 careers we highlight on here. You'll see that some of these careers we provide 1 video, sometimes 2, depending on how diverse the umbrella of those careers are. They'll continue to rank this information as they go down. I'm not going to go ahead and rank all these for you, but I just want to show you when they get to the bottom, there of course is a submit button. And then a screen will show up saying, thank you, we've received your registration. This information will help us to assign you to a workshop presentation on March 24th. Okay. What it will help us do on our end is help create a schedule, a unique schedule for each of your students the day that they show up on March 24th. Your students will not be getting their schedule for March 24th until the day that they arrive. We will keep school groups together, so your schools will still have the same block rotation schedule. So for example, for this student from Alexander, okay, they will all go to, the nursing presentation with their fellow Alexander classmates, interactive college career exhibits, that's all together as a school here. Lunch will be the same time. The only thing that makes your students' schedules unique is which workshop presentation that they're going to go to. So this particular student self-reported they're interested in learning more about what a physician does. They will be assigned to that physician presentation block. Something that we are working very hard to do that's going to be different from the healthcare career day, it's a longer workshop block, so 45 minutes versus 25 minutes that we did previously. And we're also strongly encouraging our presenters to think outside of the box, be as hands-on and interactive as they possibly can, and really avoid the lecture component as much as possible. Yes, you can use PowerPoint to get your point across, get information across to your students, but we want the students to come out with having a better understanding, doing some hands-on demonstrations to give them a better sense of that particular career. I just want to go over with you real quick chaperone rules. So
Karen, I apologize for interrupting. I just want to note that we are 11 minutes to wrap.
Okay, no problem.
Okay.
All right. So for chaperone rules, the one thing that I want to reiterate is we will be relying on the chaperones who attend this event with the students, that we will be asking for your help to ensure the satisfaction of the students of the event, for the presenters. So some of the things that you will notice is during registration, you'll ensure that the students are arriving at the correct doorway. Making sure that your students attend the event already with name tags on them, identifying themselves and the school district they belong to. And then after registration and a volunteer brings you to a room, we will give each of the school districts a room where you can keep your belongings in, your coats, so you don't have to carry those around with you. We will have the schedules, the cinch bags, any handouts that we have for your students in those rooms. So we would ask that our chaperones please make sure to help distribute those materials and make sure your kids are ready to go when 9:45 rolls around and they need to be at their first stop. For any particular block, we just want to make sure that you're actively encouraging student participation, managing those student behaviors, and then just keeping track of time so that your students are rotating to the blocks accordingly. We will have volunteers on hand to ensure that they're keeping you on task and escorting you to the region that you need to be in. But again, extra set of eyes on the students, and the time is always a very important thing. During the workshop presentations, we ask that you serve as a room monitor. So we will assign you to a workshop classroom where you will just be there to assist the presenter. Keep in mind that these folks don't have, professional experience working with youth. So, making sure that the students are on their best behavior, helping to pass out materials if they need that, helping to keep track of the time. That is really going to be the most important job as a room monitor. And I hope all of you will come out of those workshops having learned something maybe you didn't from that particular healthcare career, okay? And then these are just a couple of the important deadlines, the dates. Again, the Google survey will open December 15th, so your students can start registering you then. What I will do as a courtesy to all of our school coordinators is I will send each school district a list of who has registered by the Friday of that date. So you should have, you know, knowledge of what students are in, what students do you have to follow up with to make sure that they get their registration. I don't know if we talked about student numbers yet, but this will be a smaller event than Glow with Your Hands Manufacturing. We are giving all school districts can bring 25 students. Our larger districts who were permitted to bring more students at the Glow with Your Hands Manufacturing, you can bring up to 40 students. We're asking that all the students have their Google survey registration completed by January 27th. We realize that sometimes rosters change. Some students, you know, fill in for others. Some people, you know, their schedule changes, what have you. You can continue to make those small changes, and I mean small. Please don't have all your kids after January 27th registering for this event. But if you have a couple students here and there who want to take part in the event, maybe replacing those that who can no longer attend, we will take those registrations, but our official cutoff date of when the last student can register would be Tuesday, March 14th. Okay. And with that, I'm just going to turn it over to Mary just to talk about, well, who should I target to attend this event? Go ahead.
Karen, Mary Goldenshoe from Livingston County Workforce Development. We want to encourage you to select attendees with extreme intentionality. For experienced school level coordinators on the call, I invite you to share your best practices in the group chat. We ask that you consider the purpose of this gathering and who in your district needs this opportunity. At a basic level, students who want a career providing personal care to others should be invited. As a tour guide for 3 different school districts at our fall event, I've seen what a difference a good selection process can have on how engaged the youth are. It may look different for each school district. One district, for example, created a career day activity interest survey with just 2 questions. The first, the reader looks at a list of careers, and you could pull those careers from the slide, from the previous slide of all the careers that are going to be covered at this event. They choose their top 3. And then question 2 asks them to dig a little deeper and describe why they want to pursue the top choice. And so that could include sharing experiences and people that have influenced that interest, perhaps research that they had done on that particular career. And so I'll just ask the moderator if there were any ideas added to chat, and you could mention them now. If not, you can marinate on that.
Thanks, Mary. For those of you who don't know me, Angela Grouse, Director of Education to Employment at the Livingston County Area Chamber. We have tried this afternoon to provide you with a plethora of information about this event. And I know it may seem a little bit overwhelming. I think a couple of the key items to hit on that differentiate this event from the September event that we coordinate are the arrival and departure times. I know that some districts have made note of necessities in the chat already. And if you have an inability to arrive by 9:30, we would ask that you either put that in the chat or reach out to your county coordinator. Mary Goldenshoe is the Livingston County coordinator, Justin Dupengeiser, Wyoming County, Kelly Kabala, Orleans County, and Karen Winters, Genesee County. So those arrival and departure times are pretty key to ensure that your students are able to experience the full scope of the event. As Karen discussed, those 4 different presentation engagement opportunities will exist in the course of the day. Following today's webinar, you'll receive an email from your county coordinator with the login for that student survey data in the Google form. We will open that form on December 15th, and it will close on January the 27th, I believe, Karen. So we'll send
Real-
out the.
real- Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Angela. We have a couple questions. I want to make sure
Yep,
we
we'll
have
send
time
out the
to-
Google slide deck, the link to the form, the webinar, and some other housekeeping details in the next day or two. So at this point, I'd like to take a look at some of the questions in the queue. One is, should we be including students enrolled in Health Dimensions or Health Career Academy? Karen, do you want to take that one?
Yes. So just like with Glow with Your Hands, there's been a lot of discussion as to what degree do we involve the students currently enrolled in those CTE and training programs. We have those organizations, so the Health Dimensions, the Health Career Academy, they're aware of this event, and we're treating this more as of a promotional opportunity for them to recruit future students. There will be some students coming to lead tables, participate in hands-on demonstrations to more or less teach the students who are there about their particular programs. It's up to the school districts how they want to send the students. We don't have anything formal organized where Health Dimension students or Health Career Academy students are attending the event with their home districts. I would encourage you all to possibly contemplate the students who are young enough to still enroll in those CTE programs. So maybe focus more on your 9th graders. 8th grade is our youngest age level that we will take. So 8 through 12, it's totally up to you what students you want to select. But we see this as an opportunity for the students to enroll in those programs that exist. They'll have exposure to them, learn a little bit more about what they, do in their class setting. So that is totally up to you as a district. I hope that answers your question.
And Karen, I think you hit also on Sid House next question from Keshaqua, and that is, what grade levels are is this program open to? It is open to students in grades 8 through 12. And as Karen said, we encourage you to consider those students who have not yet selected a BOCES track. The Health Dimensions and Health Career Academy students have been invited to attend in small numbers with their programs to participate in the career and training fair component of this event. So bear that in mind as you look at your list of students. Does anyone have any other questions they'd like to ask? You're welcome to unmute and ask them, or ask through the chat. Okay. Hearing no other questions and seeing nothing else in the chat, that will conclude today's meeting. Thank you so much for your attendance, and check your emails for updates and the links this coming week.